Hello, my name is Jackie Armstrong, and today I'll be talking about why school buses don't have seatbelts. It may be that you have made a habit of fastening your seatbelts without knowing the conditions of the roads or how traffic is. Have you ever wondered why school buses don't have seatbelts? Well, today I will be talking about that. It may seem to you that with a vehicle as big as a bus and carries as much passengers as it does, that having seatbelts should be required in all states. But they don't just let anybody drive. People who wish to be a bus driver must undergo a lot of training. Also, they have to have their CDL, which stands for Commercial Driver's License, and they must have a clean driving record, and most future bus drivers have to pass a background check. And overall, you have to be trusted because you are driving 48 to 72 kids to and from school every day, and we all know how dangerous driving can be. Even though it took up to 4 years to build the safety of a bus, according to the Highway Traffic Safety Administration, school buses are the safest transportation to and from school. Buses are decked out with flashing red lights and crossview mirrors. There's also laws for other drivers when passing a school bus, so this increases the safety of not needing a seatbelt. During a fire or emergency, there are 8 exits you should know about, which are firstly, the door. 4 windows that are designed especially for emergencies. The top emergency exit window, which is located on the roof. The rear exit door for kids in the back of the bus. And the last one most people wouldn't know about is the driver's window. The middle of the bus is the safest spot because of how close it is to the window on the roof, which is the fire escape. The driver has a 3-minute time window to get the kids out and away from the bus, but with seatbelts, it takes more time to do that with the amount of people on the bus. And if you think about the amount of little kids on a bus and say one seat holds up to 3 kids and they're all buckled in, imagine how long it would take to unbuckle all the little kids in a 3-minute time window. School buses are safe for kids from any front or back hits. Thankfully, due to the seats being so tall and made specifically close together, they absorb high energy and stop kids from flying out or over their seats. But of course, any extreme objects are still going to be harmful due to the acceleration and weight of the bus. Buses weigh on average 28,000 pounds, and that's without any passengers or drivers. Now, our everyday car weighs only 4,000 pounds. With the weight of a car, the riders and driver would be thrown out of their car depending on the size of the object they hit. But with the bus, it would just slow it down or be a very small outcome of damage because the bus weighs so much. Some buses also don't contain seatbelts because it would eventually become pricey. Having seatbelts installed limits the capacity on the bus, which means they would need to provide more buses, which cost on average $28,000 and $120,000. So with this being said, if every bus installed seatbelts, schools and states are already saying they would cut the cost by purchasing less school buses altogether, which means fewer kids are going to have transportation to and from school. And schools aren't just going to hand out money for their buses unless they see more pros and cons. This especially goes for smaller schools. They can't just be wasting their money, and they need to spend it on things that will benefit them for a long run. The Missouri Department of Secondary Education says there's no safer way of transportation. 6 states require seatbelts: California, Florida, Louisiana, New Jersey, New York, and Texas. 32 states and Puerto Rico have considered seatbelts since 2007. Every year, 25 million kids are transported to and from school, according to the American School Bus Council. 6 kids are killed each year on school buses, and 2,000 kids are killed each year in our everyday cars and vehicles. Even though this is a sad fact, you can infer that buses are for sure safest. The NTSB said current compartmentalization is incomplete and that it does not protect school bus passengers during lateral impacts with vehicles of large mass and in rollovers, because in such accidents, passengers do not always remain completely within the seating compartment. Compartmentalization means how the seats are put in and how they are built to protect the kids. In Alabama, the Governor's Study Group on School Bus Seatbelts requested a pilot program to be conducted by the University of Alabama. According to the Vermont official state website, seatbelts have been required on passenger cars since 1968. There is no question that seatbelts play a big role in these kinds of vehicles, but buses are especially designed to withhold big compactions and be safe enough for kids to travel on. With everything I have said, I am not stating that the states that do require seatbelts are in the wrong. They are just as much in the right as the states that don't require seatbelts. Think of what I said previously. Any side hits with a large enough object can kill or nearly kill everyone on the bus. But thanks to seatbelts, the kids will stay in place and not be harmed nearly as bad as they would if they'd had seatbelts. Thank you for your time, and this has been Why Buses Don't Have Seatbelts.